Hello, this is Galen Martling. I'm here representing Unity Stamp Company, and I'm going to show a pretty floral card that is heat embossed and has dry embossing. So I'm going to show both of those techniques. So for the stamping, I have November Chrysanthemum by Unity Stamp Company. It is a red rubber stamp. It's large floral, and I'm using the sentiment out of the kit as well. And so I go ahead and prepare using the mini Misti stamping. I go ahead and use black hybrid ink for the sentiment, and then I'm going to go ahead and stamp the flower in Wow Clear Embossing ink. And then I use gold embossing powder by Ranger to heat set that flower. So this is heat embossing. This is also called wet embossing. So I know there's another technique for wet embossing, but this is another name for heat embossing, is wet embossing. And so what you can do, you can line up your stamp in the Misti and stamp it first with a color ink like black, and then color it in, and then put it back in the Misti the same way and add the embossing powder and heat emboss it. But I'm just speeding this up, so I went ahead and heat embossed it first, and then I added some Copic coloring. Now, if you're going to do it, if you're going to color with Copics after you heat emboss, just be very careful not to touch too much of the gold with the Copic nibs and the brushes there. It might damage your Copic nib on those markers. So just be very careful. Try not to touch those gold lines. Otherwise, you can color first, place it exactly the same way, and heat emboss it with the embossing ink afterwards if you place it the same way into the Misti. So this is just a blended variegated look for the chrysanthemum flowers. I'm using shades of pink and rose and peach and light orange. I just love that color, the variegated colors that I see in some of the chrysanthemums, and I wanted to do that for this. This is an embossed panel. I use Simon Says Stamp Triangle Burst 3D embossing folder. I placed a blank white cardstock in the middle of that embossing folder and ran it through my die cutting machine on the emboss setting, and it just impresses, it does an impression for this triangle pattern. It's beautiful. It's raised and it's got texture, and it's a 3D embossing folder. I love it. I like how embossing folders seem to be making a comeback. So I'm going to use this as a background, and I wanted to highlight that circle area in more of an orangey. I think I use, let's see, Distress ink and dried marigold, spun sugar, and worn lipstick. And then I just go in circular motions with 3 colors with that dried marigold in the center. And then I go over that center part with some of that pink color to blend it in a little bit more. So I'm leaving the color primarily at the top. I'm using Simon Says Stamp ink blending brushes. And then go ahead and fussy cut that flower out and die cut the sentiment and die cut this front panel and place them all onto the cardstock. And you can see how pretty and shimmery that gold embossing is for this chrysanthemum flower. I go ahead and place that with foam tape and the sentiment with foam tape. And I just added a few gems there in addition. So I hope you like this. Thanks so much for watching. Please take a moment to subscribe to my channel, like and share if you will, and have a great day.